ago, I started Spire. And the goal of Spire was to inspire LGBTQ thought leadership. And 3 years ago, we really wanted to get on the radar, as any newcomer wants to. We wanted to get on the radar of our leadership, but we had to pay our dues. So 3 years later, fast forward, and here I am in front of you today. So I'd like to say thank you to you and your team for having me, and I look forward to hopefully spending more time with all of you beyond today. So moving forward, I'd like to just dig into this topic. I've heard this word a lot about authenticity, and it's a buzzword. It's been a buzzword for a while, and for those of you who are familiar with the research on authentic leadership, it's not new. It's been around since, I believe, about 2015, 2016, at least as far as hitting the mainstream market. But before I get into what it is, why it's important, and then how do you do it, in the spirit of authenticity, I think it's important that you know who I am authentically. Do me a favor. If you feel comfortable, take off these jackets. If it feels comfortable to you. Unloose the tie. Get comfortable. Just now. If you're cold, I get it, because I was sitting here yesterday. Thank you. Doesn't that feel better? Whew. I feel better. So first and foremost, I want you to know that I am an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 8 years old. At 8 years old, I went door to door to sell lawn mowing services to my neighbors. And like any good entrepreneur, I went back, told my brother, and I made him do all the work. Second, and my life changed in 2007 when I met Tony Robbins. I was recruited by his company at the time because I was doing a lot of production consulting. And at first I was like, who is this guy? I had no real interest in him, but it changed my life. I mean, I really did it. It was one of the single most important changes and decisions in my life, and it is the reason why I do what I do today. So I'm extremely grateful to him. Around that same time or soon after, I started a company because working with Tony Robbins gave me an absolute advantage. I started to see my life accelerate. I started to see things in my life change, gifts and opportunities I didn't have before meeting him. And I saw that the people that were around me in my community weren't getting access to these same resources and this same knowledge. So committed to the community, I started an organization, a company by the name of FlawLes Media. The goal at the time when I started that was to increase the visibility of the lesbian community. At first it was to inspire the modern day lesbian, right? Because we needed some inspiration in 2007. And then soon after, my goal transformed into how do we increase the visibility of the community so that we can do what we're all trying to do today, increase the equality. Fast forward to 2015, I started Spire with the sole mission of increasing LGBTQ thought leadership. After working with Tony Robbins for 10 years, I thought, yeah, he's great. He does a wonderful service to a lot of people, but where was my community in it? Where were my people? And so I started an organization to hopefully answer that question, and I'd love to invite all of you to continue on that journey with me in some capacity. And last but not least, in my authentic journey, I'm just about 30 days out from publishing my first book, which leads me to why we are here today. Still with me? So this is just kind of more of a shot to prove to you I do work with Tony, but also to show you the lineage of all my haircuts. So today I'm in a goal of inspiring 1 million leaders. You're all contributing to that. Like I said, I've had the honor and privilege of working with some incredible thought leaders thus far. But today I want to really get you centered, level set to what does it mean to be an authentic leader? Why is it so important right now? And then how do each and every one of us walk away from our session today understanding how to be an authentic leader? It's a practice like journaling. It's a practice like meditation, and it's not just a buzzword. To understand what it means, why it's important, and how to do it, you have to see what's the problem. Why is it so important right now? Globally right now, people don't trust businesses. They don't trust business owners. Faith in companies is below 50%. Globally, by the way, 2,600 CEOs let go in the last 2 years. And since this statistic has been noted, it's gone up. 21% of European investors, to let you know this isn't just a problem in our country, Because obviously you just turn on the television, read social media. I can't even pay attention to Twitter anymore because it stresses me out so much. True story. And last but not least, 71% of people feel the typical CEO is not trustworthy. That means, pay attention to that. That means 29% actually trust a CEO. You understand the magnitude of that? I mean, we are clearly in the throes of a leadership crisis. 2015, the World Economic Forum stated it in their research. So we're here to create a solution to that. More numbers for those of you, I believe a lot of these speak to a lot of you. 50% of our workforce right now, people who are within, let's say, 3 to 10 years of experience, they're already in management positions, which means they're having to lead other people. They're having to communicate. They're having to create change. 70% want to leave and go start their own business. That's a problem if you are working on a team where your success is reliant upon somebody's creativity, somebody's productivity, somebody's engagement, someone's ability to innovate. And by the way, feel like they belong. 30% of leaders are disengaged, and then I've already said communication right now. People are absolutely deathly afraid to communicate. These are just some interesting points. I don't want to go through all of them for the sake of time, but I want you to know that we are in the middle of what's called the transformation decade. It started in 2010, and if you're interested in the research behind this, it's written by an author by the name of David Houle, and the book is called, The Shift Age, Entering the Shift Age. I hired him for an event about 5-6 years ago, and it was a recommendation from a colleague. I read his book, and I have now read it, I would say, about 6 or 7 times since, because the data found in there is so compelling to me as an individual, as a human that's living in, my thought, the most exciting time of our lives. And I would love for you all to read it and to bring some of this back to your teams. 2025, right now, currently 60%, give or take 5%, of those enrolled in undergrad, graduate, and PhD programs are women. Women. So if you're not preparing for the future and how we're changing that within and outside of our community, then let me say it in a more positive slant. The opportunity we have energetically to shift how we operate on a day-to-day basis. Still with me? And then one thing again, Dr. Vivian Ming, who a lot of us are familiar with, talks a lot about innovation and creativity being the currency. We've talked a lot this week. I've already heard a couple speakers mention what kind of capital can we unleash with authenticity? How much energy can we take from here that's being spent trying to be someone else? How much of that energy can we put over here innovating the next innovation that has to absolutely occur? It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm excited about this, though. And then Bill George, who is essentially the founder of the Authentic Leadership Research, says that it's increasingly evident that we need a new type of leader for the 21st century. But to know what a 21st century leader looks like, we have to look back. This model that I'm working off of really focuses on one aspect of a bigger picture. A lot of people focus on individual work, team transformation, and organizational change. But for the sake of time, we can really only focus on what it means to be an authentic leader. Let me preface by telling you this next section is not a stand and deliver session. It's a full contact sport. And what I'm about to do is engage you in what's called a deep learning practice. Deep learning practice is multisensory, so I'm going to use body movement, I'm going to use music, and I'm going to use your ability and willingness to get out of your comfort zone. So put your hands up if you're ready to play. Awesome. So when you engage in deep practice and deep learning, you increase your ability to learn and retain it in your nervous system 5 times. So you're here for the next 50 minutes, 46, 45, 44 seconds. Let's go deep. Let's go further.